Tell me what you're drinking, we can go pour one. Tell me what you're thinking, we can have some more fun.
I didn't hear the interview, but people were kind of griping that he wasn't really.
Yeah, that he hates baseball and he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, well, it wasn't something about his priorities.
Yeah, so I guess when spring training, you got all these journalists and the reporters that go and ask these guys questions. And they go to Rendon, who, just a little background on Rendon. Stud. He's a good baseball player.
Right.
Played with the Nationals. Won a World Series.
Okay.
That was his free agent year. He was a really good player for a World Series team. The Angels paid a lot of money for him to come and play in Los Angeles. He ends up getting hurt a lot. Ends up not really playing that well and not often. You know, and it sucks when you get injured. You can't really, you know how it is. You get injured, you don't play as well.
Right.
And, have that, do what it does. I don't know how it affects you, right? But if you don't play a lot and you get injured and you're getting paid a lot of pressure over the contract.
Sure.
And now that you got media starting to get after you, and I don't know, maybe you could say he hasn't handled it as well. But the reason why he's in the news is exactly what you said. He said baseball wasn't his top priority, and we actually got the quote here. Everyone's pretty much saying he hates baseball because what the reporter asked was, last year you said you'd consider retiring. What's your mindset now? And he's his enthusiasm has been the same since he's got drafted. He was looking at some old emails, and his thought process hasn't changed since then. Saying kind of going over pros and cons as he should stay in the game. And apparently a lot of former players or players who've played with him, has said he's never really liked baseball that much. It's just something he's been really good at.
Right.
And the reporter goes on to ask, well, how does your pro and con list compare to 10 years ago when you first started looking at getting drafted? So it's different. He's married now. He's got a family. His priorities have changed since he was in his early 20s, and his perspective on baseball has changed. And then the reporter asks if it's a top priority, and this is probably what gets him in trouble. And he says it's never been a top priority, talking about baseball. It's never been a top priority for him. It's a job to him. This is what he does for a living.
Sure.
And that his faith and family come first, yada, 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 and that kind of thing. I don't see a problem. I don't really see that much of a problem
with that. No. When they want to pick on him, so they're going to use everything they can get.
Yeah. Because, with what he's saying, I think it's, with what he's saying in that answer isn't wrong. Obviously, your family's first with everything.
Always.
But when you're a player where people have questioned if you like to play baseball, if you're giving it your 100% effort, when people are like, he's had questions in the past, and then you give an answer. Like, you got to know who you are. You got to know who you're talking to and what you say. He had to know that when he says this, he knows what people are going to say. I just don't think he cares. That's the thing with Rendon.
Well, if you want things to go smooth for yourself, you just need to be more diplomatic in what you say.
I guess.
You can say something but not exactly say it.
I think it matters who says it too. Like, if you ask that same question to someone else, they're not going to get as much as an uproar as if this guy says it, because he's had issues in the past of people saying he doesn't care about baseball.
Well, then he's just putting the light on himself.
Yeah, I mean, he's not helping himself.
Because you can always just tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah,
and then prove it on the field.
But that's not him.
Well,
you got, and that's the thing.
And that's
it is what it is.
It comes with the territory.
It is what it is. So then the reporter asks him, "Is it a priority?" And he goes, "Oh, it's a priority for sure because it's my job and I'm here, aren't I?"
Yeah, that's his living.
And the reporter asked, "Do you want to be here?" And I thought this was funny. He goes, "I don't want to talk to you guys at 7 a.m. or whatever time."
I heard that part.
That one's, I think that's fair. I don't think anyone, because when I played in college and we used to wake up at like 4:45 a.m. to go hit.
He could have asked the reporter, "Do you feel like being here at 7 o'clock in the morning?"
Well, the reporter probably, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point, because that's the reporter's job too. But what I'm saying is, when I had to wake up at 4:45 to go hit off a tee, I mean, you saw me grow up. You know I love baseball.
Right.
I don't love it that much to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning to go hit. That's just it's annoying. I could wake up at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. or 9 a.m. and go hit in the afternoon or something. I don't have to wake up before the birds wake up to go swing off a tee.
How many years has he been in the league?
I don't know, about 10, I guess. 2014 he was drafted.
So
maybe less than that.
Is that long? Your perspective changes. It depends on how hard the game's been for you. If you've had a lot of injuries or things aren't going quite right, or people are always on you, you just get just a bad attitude about things, and you just don't want to deal with them, but you have to.
That's not a winner, though. And
It's
that's not. That's
not
not
everybody's a winner.
So I see two things here, right?
Yeah.
One, I see one aspect of this where the media is blowing it up because of who he is.
He's set up.
Yeah, and he did it to himself too. And
Right.
and the thing is he's the kind of player to where he's gonna say what he wants to say. He's not gonna double back.
No.
And
He
if you
doesn't
don't
have to. He's got his money in the bank.
Yeah.
And, if he stops playing tomorrow, he'll probably be okay.
and if you don't like it, that's your problem. He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Now,
I see the other side of it, where if you're one of his teammates who doesn't have a bag,
Right.
you're not getting paid, $200+ million.
sure.
Right.
He's not going to be a good teammate.
If you're Mike Trout and you want to win, and you got the Angel, he's holding the team back because he's getting paid a lot and he hasn't played a lot,
Right.
And he's making comments like this. I think I would have a personal conversation with him and say, dude, what if you don't want to be here, then screw off, or change your tone because behind closed doors, that's like a man-to-man conversation. Because if you're on a team, you have a goal to win, right?
Right.
And everyone's got to be pulling that same rope together. You can't have someone pulling it or not helping. You're just a wasted space at that point. So it's kind of like, hey, make this. Like, I would ask, what did you mean? Did you mean it this way? Is it not a priority? Or is the media just, blowing it up? That's what I would do.
He should come out the next day, tomorrow, or whatever it is, and clarify things.
Nah, I don't know.
What was interesting is that when I was listening to this, what I caught was they brought on Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq?
He made some comments.
What radio show is this where you're listening to Shaq and...
No, WDAE.
Okay.
Yeah. James,
Shaq's had something to say with this?
I don't know if it was about this, but they pulled up comments that he had made that, he played, made a lot of money, and his focus was on the wrong things, and he wished that it would have been more on family. And now he's living in a 100,000 square foot home all by himself.
Makes sense.
Because he didn't
it's
concentrate on what was really important, his family.
Yeah, but it's a tough job because you're away from your kids. And he's even said, like, do you think he said, looking back, I think he said it to a reporter. I wonder if this is it. I'm not sure. But, yeah, this is it right here. This quote. And towards the bottom where he says, Barry Bonds is arguably the best player, and people still hate him. You can't make everybody happy. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't want to have surgeries. You think I like going under the knife and being in pain majority of my time? I can't pick up my kids. I can't walk. You think I enjoy that? I don't want to do that.
And maybe it's just, but he doesn't want to quit because he wants that money keep coming in, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But I see it. And if that's the case, then, it is what it is. But I don't think he should come out. Me personally, if I'm a guy on the team, I don't care if he comes out and says it publicly, but say it to the team because those are the guys that matter. Because you're sharing locker room with them. And you're supposed to be sharing a goal. And their new manager, Ron Washington, who I like a lot, he's a big culture guy, and I'm sure they probably already discussed this. They happened a couple of days ago, so they probably already talked about it.
Well, I've been around baseball for 58 years or so now. You've had a lot of time in baseball. You've seen players where they got so much talent, but they're just arrogant, and they just see things differently.
I don't know if this is arrogance. Could be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because there's like two ways of looking at this.
And at the same time, they're not good teammates.
Yeah.
You don't
selfish.
Yeah, you just feel like you're just doing your job instead of the team playing together.
Yeah.
To get the job done.
Yeah.
It only takes one. It only takes one guy to ruin it for everyone.
To be a cancer.
To get the wrong atmosphere in the locker room, out on the field. And if he's up and everybody dislikes him, nobody's going to be rooting for him. Especially when he comes back in the dugout, he's going to be feeling awfully lonely most of the time.
Yeah, well, maybe not. Who knows what it is in that locker room? Like, again, I think there's two ways you can look at this and say, look, the media's blowing it up. It's not that big a deal.
Right.
Baseball shouldn't be a top priority. Family always comes first.
Sure.
Whatever.
They're just picking on it.
And then there's a second way to view it though. Is, dude, you're getting paid millions to play a game that people wish they were in your position.
Right.
And you're complaining about it.
Right.
You know, that's the second angle, which I think if you're a guy in that locker room, maybe on the 40 man, or, you know, you're a borderline big leaguer or a journeyman, and you got this guy saying this kind of stuff, or you're Mike Trout, who's also another superstar on a team, and this guy's hogging up a bunch of salary, meaning that instead of spending it on other players who want to be there,
Right.
they got to spend it on this guy. And that's another point that someone else said, you know, if you're the Angels and you're their front office and you spent all that money to sign Rendon, and you didn't do your homework to see if the guy liked baseball,
Yeah.
you gave a guy that much money who doesn't even like baseball.
How much did he get?
Dude, I think it was like 250 plus.
For what, 10 years?
Like
or?
7 to 10, yeah. So it's like a big contract. I don't know. I don't remember the specifics, but
Well,
see if
all
one of
I
these
know
quotes had it.
is that I would be more than happy to donate my bad knee for 10 million, 20 million, or whatever.
Yeah, I'd take.
Instead of complaining about it.
Yeah, I think I'd
Because
go,
the game has been good to him, right? Making all this money. So yeah.
And I listened to one show where it has AJ Pierzynski on there. He's a former catcher, big league guy, and he said
Right.
exactly the same thing. He's like, dude, this game has blessed you. You got to give back to the game.
Absolutely.
And think about that. You know, I would like too when professional ball players, they always say, you know, when they played, maybe it was a Robin Yount quote, but he's talking about how, you know, his perspective of baseball changed when he started playing, as if, you know, it was every time he played and took the field, it was a kid's first game. And he, like a family bought tickets to go watch you specifically
Right,
play.
right.
You know, maybe that's like their one game they could afford. They're going to go out there and watch you play. And, you know, if you take it 50% that day, you know, you're kind of cheating that family or that kid out of their experience, out of their money.
Well, not everyone thinks about other people. Some people just think more about themselves.
Tell me what you're drinking, we can go pour one. Tell me what you're thinking, we can have some more fun. I know that you said you don't think of me, but what you're doing now is telling different. Tell me what you're drinking, we can go pour one. Tell me what you're thinking, we can have some more fun. I know that you said you don't think of me, but what you're doing now